Hello my dear students, welcome back. How was the quiz? Good. Well, in this sub-lesson we're going to talk about finding area of a circle. Now you know that when it's a square or rectangle, there's a formula, alright? So we need the measurement. Let's say for example, if it's a square, okay, all sides are equal length. And what's the area? And you know that length times length. Now if it's a rectangle, okay, and you know that the rectangle has the opposite sides are equal length. So this is equal length to that, and this equals equal length to that. And you know the area is length times breadth, alright, or length times width. Now when come to circle, circle also has its own formula, alright. So you know that in a circle, okay, that's a center point and a radius. These are the only information you have as a lengthwise, okay. Okay, this is the radius. Of course, the formula that we're going to use for the area is pi r squared. That's it right there, pi r squared. So you need to know the radius in order to find the area of a circle, alright? So without the radius, there's no way to find it. But I can give you indirectly, but I can give you the circumference, and then you reverse it by finding the radius and then plug it in for the area. Okay, so the bottom line is what? You need to know the radius in order to find an area of a circle. Okay, so this is the formula. I want you to memorize this. Okay, area equals to pi r squared. Now pi, you can use either 22 over 7, okay, or you can use 3.142. See that? Now if you have a scientific calculator, there is a function called pi, so you may use that one. Okay, will give you the more precise, like 3.141 and so forth. Okay, so that's a huge decimal to it, but we really don't need it that long. We just need up to 3.142. all right, okay, so we don't need 3.1417 and so forth. Okay, all right, good. So this is all we're going to use. Okay, let's say for example, if I don't know the radius, okay, if I told you the radius of a circle is, let's say, 6 centimeters, and to find the area, okay, so what do? Area equals to pi r squared. So pi, and what's r? R is 6 centimeters. Okay, now squared. Okay, I want you to watch this. In other words, let Mr. Mac put the centimeters in there. Centimeters squared. So that means pi 6 centimeters times 6 centimeters. Okay, so we're timesing the 6 centimeters twice. Okay, that's what the squared means. So 6 times 6 is what? 36. Okay, 36 pi centimeter squared. Alright, for area you're using the square, just like for the square and rectangle. Alright, so let's say if this is 3 centimeters, so what's the area? 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters, which is 9 centimeters squared. Alright, now what about rectangle? The same thing. Let's say if I give you this is 2 centimeters and this is 4 centimeters, the area is, the length is 4 centimeters times the breadth is 2 centimeters. 4 times 2 is 8 centimeter squared. Because you see, you're timesing centimeter with centimeter, that's why you get centimeter squared for the area. The same thing applies for circle. Okay, the area is centimeter squared. Now earlier we learned the circumference. The circumference is just centimeter. Remember earlier I talked to you about, I told you when come to unit for circumference, it's pretty much finding the length. Alright, circumference is like a length of a circle. Alright, so you use the centimeter or meter or kilometer. Now for area, you use centimeter squared, kilometer squared, or meter squared, okay, millimeter squared. Alright, you gotta use the word squared. That's why, see that? R squared. You're timesing the radius twice. 6 centimeters times 6 centimeters. That gives you 36 pi centimeter squared. And of course, then you substitute for pi, so you say 36 times 3.142 centimeter squared. So you take your calculator. If you are using a basic calculator, you just punch in 36 times 3.142. That gives us 113.112 centimeter squared right there. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward, okay? Good. Well, let Mr. Mac erase the board. Let's talk more about finding area, okay, of a circle with a given radius. I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's see Mr. Mac to give you a circle, okay? So in this circle, I told you find the area, okay? The center is right there, and told you the radius is 7 centimeters. And ask you to find the area of this circle. So pretty much what it is, we're finding how much, like say for example, if you have a room as a circle room, alright? A round room. We want a carpet in that room. That's what it is, kind of covering the whole area of that circle. Alright? Okay, so we want to find out how much carpet we needed, okay? To carpet the 7 centimeter radius. That's a very small room, am I right? Okay, how about we say 7 meters, okay? Alright, let's do 7 meters instead of centimeters, okay? We say 7 meters, okay, a round room, okay? So we want to carpet that, we want to find out what the area of that round room is, okay? So what's the formula for area? So area equals to pi r squared. You got to know this formula, okay? Area equals to pi r squared, okay? So we know, see, in this case, look at that. Sometime you can use 3.142 or you can use 22/7. It depends how the number is, okay? If they said no calculator, I want you to use 22/7, okay? Let's say I say without using calculator, I want you to find what the area of this circle, okay? So we know pi is what? 22/7, and r is 7, okay? So 7 centimeters squared, alright? Meter squared. So we know that 7 meters squared, that means is what? 7 times 7, am I right? So which is 49. But look at this 7 right here. So in other words, pretty much what it is, 22/7, 7 centimeters times 7 centimeters. I can cancel the 7. See that? Because that can be divided by 7, that can be divided by 7. See that? So that cancels out, become 1 and 1. So now the denominator is gone. All is just numerator. So I can multiply 22 times 1 centimeter times 7 centimeters. See that? So that gives me 22 times 7. So let's line it up. 22 times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 4 carry 1. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 15. So it gives me 154. So it gives me 154 centimeter squared. Very important. There you go. Because you're finding the area right there. See that? So it gives you a nice round number. So you can simplify that way. Okay, so keep in mind. Alright, there are times you want to use 22/7, especially if I ask you, you can't use calculator. Alright, then right there. Okay, so it's so you can cancel them out. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, so 154 centimeters squared. Now let's see, for example, this time Mr. Mac give you a circle with the area. I know the area, but I don't know the radius. I want to find the radius. Okay, so let's say I give you a circle, and I told you the area of that circle is 220 centimeters squared. And I want to find the radius. Okay, let's say this is the center right there, and this radius right there. And what's the radius of that circle? Okay, so what do? Let's write down the formula. Okay, what's the formula of the area? Area equals to pi r squared. Alright, and we already given the area is 220 centimeters squared. So let's substitute for area. 220 centimeters squared equals to, and what's pi? 22/7, and r is, we don't know. We're going to put r squared. Okay, so we're looking for r, so we're going to isolate r by itself. So we're going to move all this 22/7 first. So pretty much this is 22r squared over 7. Same thing. Alright, so what is 7 doing towards r? It's dividing. So we're going to take 7, cross the bridge, division will be cross the bridge, so it becomes what? Exactly, multiplication. Okay, so we can take 220. We're gonna just keep the centimeter squared aside for right now. All right, so we're gonna take 220. We're gonna multiply that with 7, because division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. All right, okay, so multiplication. So the left is 22r squared. So we're gonna take 220 times 7. Okay, then what is 22 doing to r? It's multiplying. Multiplication cross the bridge will becomes, very good, division. Okay, we're going to take the 22 across this time. So r squared equals to 220 times 7 over 22. See what I'm doing? Okay, good. Now look at this. I can cancel the 22 with 220, because I can divide 220 with 22. Okay, I can divide I can divide 22 with 22, and then I can divide 220 with also 22. See that? So this one will become 1. So let's use the long division method. We're going to use what? The cage approach. Okay. So we're going to put the cage. 220 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage, and 22 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. In 2, I kind of, how about 22? That's how many 22? 1. 1 times 22 is 22. Minus, give me 0. And since this one came down to 0, there's a 0 in the back. I just bring it up. Okay. Take it up, and then that means this is 10. Okay, so now I can multiply. 10 times 7 is 70 over 1, which is 70, okay, equals to r squared. So I can rewrite it as r squared equals to 70. But I'm looking for r. So what do? Very good. From our previous lesson, we square root. Okay, we square root both sides. Square root of r squared is what? R. That means we're going to find the square root of 70. That's where the calculator comes in, okay? Alright, if you have a basic calculator, you put the 70 first and then you press the square root button. Alright, that gives you 8 so it gives me 8.3666, but we want to round it up to 2 decimal. Alright, so the 6 is greater than 5. I'm just going to add this 1 to 6, becomes 7. So that becomes 8.37. And what's the unit we're going to use? This is a length. It's going to be centimeters. See that? Centimeters. Okay, keep in mind when you're measuring a length, when you're finding a length, it will centimeters. Area, centimeters squared. Okay, good. Well, let Mr. Mac erase the board and let's talk more about it. Alright, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's do another one. Okay, let's say Mr. Mac give you a circle. Okay, and I told you the area of the circle is, okay, 44 centimeters squared. Okay, I told you the area of the circle is 44 centimeters squared, and I want you to find the radius. Okay, now I can make it more exciting. I can say find the circumference. Pretty much easy. How's that? You find the radius first. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's make it fun. Okay, we're going to find what the circumference of the circle. Okay, see that? So in other words, you need to find the radius first before I can find the circumference, because we know what the circumference formula is what? Exactly 2 pi r. See, I need that radius. See that? So we got the area. Okay, what's the area formula? Okay, so area formula is pi r squared, and I know the area is 44. Okay, 44 centimeters squared, and pi is what? 22 over 7. And r, we don't know, so we're going to leave it as a r squared. Okay, so what are we going to do first? We're going to isolate r, in other words r squared. Later we take the square root. Okay, so this is pretty much is what? 22 r squared over 7. And what is 7 doing to r? It's dividing. Alright, so we're going to take 7 across the bridge. Okay, so let's drop the centimeters squared for right now, just leave it number. So it'll be 44 times 7, and then we got 22 r squared. And next will be 22. 22 is doing what? It's multiplying. So multiplication across the bridge will becomes division. So 44 times 7 over 22 equals to r squared. Now, I didn't times this out because I noticed that 22 and 44 I can simplify, because 22 divided by 22 is 1. 44 divided by 22 is 2. See that? So now 2 times 7 is 14. 14 over 1, which is r squared. So r squared equals to 14. R will be what? So how do I find r? I'm looking for r because it's in the form of r squared. I take square root. I square root both sides. Very important. Okay, I'm looking for r. That means I have to square root. Okay, so r equals to square root of 14. Okay, we'll take the calculator. Okay, in your case, if you have a basic calculator, you put 14 and then square root. If you have scientific calculator, alright, so if your scientific calculator is a bit more advanced, so what you want to do is you have to put the square root and then 14. Okay, so if you're using a calculator like this, which is more scientific, alright, okay, good. So we're going to take the square root of 14. So we're going to type 14 square root. So that gives us 3.741. Alright, so actually 3.7416, and we want to round it up to the 2 decimal. Okay, So let's see, it's 3.741. 6, we're going to round it up to 2 decimal, so that gives me 3.74. What's the unit we're going to use? Centimeter. Why centimeter? Because it's a length. See that? Area is only 1 centimeter squared. So in this case, it's a length 3.74 centimeter. But we're looking for what? Circumference, alright? So we know the radius. Now can I find the circumference? Yes. Just plug it in. 2 times pi times the radius is 3.74 centimeters. Okay, so now we take the calculator and we're going to use 3.142 in this case. Okay, so let's do that. So we take 2, which is for pi. Okay, so we're going to take 2 times 3.142 times 3.74. all right, so we're going to take 2 times 3.142 times 3.74. that gives me 23.5 centimeters. Is it going to be squared? No, centimeters. Okay, why not square? Because this is still a length. Circumference is a length. You're finding the length around the circle. You're not finding the area. Okay, be careful. When it's length, it's just centimeter. If it's the area, centimeter squared. When it's a volume, centimeter cube. Okay, which we will learn later. All right. Okay, good. There you go, right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Alright, good. Now, let's say for example, if Mr. Mac to give you a circumference and then ask you to find the area, how do you do that? Pretty easy, straightforward, isn't it? Okay, let's say for example, okay, Mr. Mac give you a circle right here. I told you the circumference of this circle is, let's say 24 centimeters. And I want to find the area of that. So circumference is 24 centimeters and I want to find the area of that circle. So again, the bottom line is we have to find the radius first, because we know the circumference formula is 2 pi r, and I want to find r and then substitute for area formula and then find the area. Okay, so let's do that. Alright, so we know c is what? The circumference is 24, and then 2, let's use the pi, 22 over 7, and I'm looking for r. Alright, so now this will be 22 times 2 will be what? 44. Okay, so we're going to say 44 over 7 r equals to 24. And I'm looking for r. Who got to go first? 7. Okay, what 7 is doing to r is dividing. Division across the bridge becomes multiplication. So 24 times 7, which equals to 44r. Now I take 44 across the bridge, okay? And 44 is multiplying. Across the bridge becomes division, okay? So over 44 equals to r. Okay? So we're going to take the calculator. We're going to find out what is r is. 24 times 7, and then which is 168, and we're going to divide that by 44. Alright, so it's giving me r is so r equals to 3.818 centimeters. Okay, the radius is that. Are we done? No, but we're looking for what? Area. So what's the area formula? The area formula is pi r squared. Okay, so we're going to take the radius right there, 3.818. We can round it up, this one. Okay, let's round it up to the 2 decimal. Okay, 3.82, because 8 is greater than 5, so we're going to add 1 to that 1 and becomes 2. Okay, so we're going to use like that, 3.82. So we're going to substitute. Alright, so pi is 3.142, and we're going to multiply that with 3.82 squared. See that? 3.82 squared. Now how are we going to use the calculator if it's something like this? If you're using a basic calculator, take the square of this first. So in other words, 3.82, and you multiply that again 3.82, because your basic calculator doesn't give you the function where you can square it. If you're using the scientific calculator, yes, it has a square to it. Okay, so you put 3.82 and then you press the square button, it'll give you the square of that. Alright, so in this case, 3.82 times 3.82 gives me, so I'm going to rewrite this one, 3.142 times 14.59. Alright, 14.59. Now I'm going to take 14.59, I'm going to multiply that with pi, which is 3.142. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that with, so 14.59 times 3.142 equals to 45 45.84 centimeters squared, because I'm finding the area. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. What we did, I was given the circumference of the circle, okay, like this, and ask you to find the area. In order for me to find the area, I need to know the radius. So I used the circumference as a way to find the radius. Once I found the radius, I took the radius and substituted that for area formula, and then I solved it and found the area is 45.84 centimeters squared. That's it. Alright, my dear students, this is awesome. Let's do hands-on practice, alright? Okay, give me a few seconds. Well, let's see what Pablo's doing. He's busy. He's busy putting hands-on practice together. He's always on top, okay? Because he cares about you just as much as the Meg does, alright? We're here to help you get better with mathematics, alright? And I'm so happy you're part of our team, part of a SCOI Math Week 3. Alright, my dear students, I'll be back in a few seconds. Hello, my dear students. Are you ready for some hands-on practice? Alright, good. Let's call Pablo, right? Pablo, come on over, Pablo. Come on over. Bring the hands-on practice with you. Alright, my dear students. Yes, our dear Pablo. And once you hand over the hands-on practice, and be sure to pause the video. And once you're done, invite Mr. Mac, okay? Have fun. Oh, good. How was it? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Pretty easy. Okay, let's do it together, okay? Alright, the first one says, find the area of a circle of diameter 14 centimeters, okay? So you're given a circle, alright? Alright, so you're given a circle and you're told to find the area of the circle with a diameter. See that? The word diameter. Don't mix it up between diameter and the radius, which is what you're given, 14 centimeters, okay? So very important, alright? Okay, so it says find the area of a circle given diameter 14 centimeter, alright? Okay, so that means we know the formula is what? Area. Pi r squared. So we need the radius and we're given the diameter, and we know that diameter equals to 2 radius. So radius equals to half the diameter. That means 14 divided by 2 is 7, which equals to the radius. See that? So now we can substitute for r, okay, which is the 7 centimeter, okay? So the area equals to pi, we're going to use 22 over 7 times 7 squared. Alright? Now look at this, 7. So we know this is what? 7 times 7. So I can cancel the 7 out. So right there, okay? So now I can 22 times 7. So let's line it up. 22 times 7. 7 times 7 is 14. 4 carry 1. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 15. So 154. So 154 centimeter squared. Very good. Because why? It's an area. We're finding an area. Alright? See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? So just watch out. The way they're going to get you is by saying diameter, and you're thinking, alright, substituting for radius. No, diameter is twice radius. Alright? So we can divide the diameter into 2 and we'll get the radius, and then we substitute. Okay, good. You got it right? Good job. I know you do. Alright, my dear students. So let's do problem number 2. Now problem number 2 says find the radius of a circle given that the area is 308 centimeters squared, and then they say use pi equals to 2207. But wait a minute, what are they asking you to find this time? The radius. Alright, they gave us the area. They want us to reverse it to find the radius. Alright, so this time is given the area. Okay, so problem 2. So first what do? We write down the formula. The area equals to pi r squared. All right, so we're looking for the radius. All right, and what's given area is 308 centimeters squared, and we're going to use pi 22 over 7, and we're looking for r squared, which is pretty much what it is, 22 r squared over 7. See that? You can rewrite like this. So now I'm solving for r, I'm looking for r. Alright, so who got to go first? 7 or 22, doesn't matter which one, alright? Because both this 22 is multiplying, 7 is dividing. So I'm going to take 7, division cross the bridge, so it becomes multiplication. So 308 times 7. We're just going to drop the centimeter squared right now. Okay, we're just going to set aside. So easier for us just to deal with the numbers, alright? Because we know the radius is going to be in what unit? Centimeter, the length, alright? Okay, good. So we took the 7 across, the left is 22 r squared. And then who got to go next? 22. What's 22 doing to r? It's multiplying. So multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. So we're going to put 308 times 7 over 22 equals to r squared. Alright, so let's solve this one. So we're going to take the calculator. So we're using the basic calculator. Okay, so you just plug it in. Alright, so we're going to take 308 times 7 and then equal that. That gives you 2156, and then we're going to divide that by 22. Okay, gives me 98. So it gives me 98 r squared. Alright, but I'm looking for what? R. So we're going to do what? Square root. So in other words, r squared equals to 98, and I'm looking for r. I'm going to square root. That means I'm going to square root this side also. Okay, so let's find out what's the square root of 98. Okay, so 98 square root gives me 9.899. Okay, so r equals to 9.899, and then we're going to round it up. Let's say round it up to right there. Okay, 1 decimal. So that means 9 is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to 8. That gives me 9.9. So r equals to 9.9 centimeters. So very important, you got to put the unit. Alright, so can I just leave it as a 9.9? So radius. So we found the radius of a circle with the area 308 centimeters squared is 9.9 centimeters. Pretty easy, isn't it? Alright, good. Well, let's do problem number 3. Well, before Mr. Mac do problem number 3, how about I erase the board? Alright, I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, ready for problem number 3? Alright, let's do number 3. Okay, it says find the area of a circle given that the circumference of the circle is 44 centimeters. See that? See, they're not giving you directly the information, the radius that you needed. See that? They kind of gave you the circumference so that you can find the area. So that's how you have to find the radius. Okay, so let's write that down. Number 3. So your given circumference is, well, what's the circumference? 44 centimeters. Okay, okay, and they want us to find the area of that circle. All right, right there. Okay, so we're given. All right, and we've also been told pi. We're going to use it 22 over 7. Okay, these are the information we extract from the question that was given to us. So first goal is what? To use the circumference information to find the radius. See that? So let's write down the formula. Okay, C equals to 2 pi r. So you need to know the formula for the circumference. All right, very important. All right, so now we're solving for r, and we know C. C is what? 44. Okay, 44 centimeters, and we know pi is 22 over 7, and then we're looking for r. So that means we're going to isolate r. So pretty much this is 22 times 2. Okay, which is 22 times 2 is what? 44. Okay, 44, because you know that 22, line it up with 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, 44 r over 7, and I'm looking for r. So who got to go first? Doesn't matter, 7 or 44 can go. Okay, 7 is dividing, so cross the bridge, so it becomes multiplication. So 44 times 7, and then who's next? 44. And what's 44 doing, R? It's multiplying. So multiplication across the bridge becomes division. Alright? Okay, so we're going to take 44R. Okay, so we're looking for R. So who got to go? 44. See that? So I bring across. And 44 is multiplying. So multiplication across the bridge becomes division. See that? Over 44. So 44 times 7 divided by 44 equals to R. Now look at that. 44 and 44 can be cancelled out. Gives me 1 and 1. In other words, 44 divided by 44 is 1. 44 divided by 44 is 1. See that? So it tells you R is 7 centimeters. So we already know the radius. Now can we find the area? Yes. What's the area formula? Area equals to pi R squared. Alright? And we know pi is 22 over 7 and R is 7. Right there. Okay? So 7 squared. Alright? 7 times 7. Now why did I put 7 times 7? Because this 7 can cancel out that 7. Alright, now I can times 22 with 7, so we line it up. 22 times 7, so I'm going to time 22 with 7, so 7 times 2 is 14, 4, carry 1, 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So that gives me 154. 154 centimeter squared, because it's the area. Alright, keep in mind, area is centimeters squared, and circumference and the radius and diameters will be just a centimeter, because they're pretty much, you're measuring the length. Okay, consider length. Alright, there you go. So 154 centimeters squared. Alright, now if you just put 154 centimeters, that's considered wrong. Alright, you gotta put centimeters squared. Alright, very important. Okay, you gotta have the unit centimeters squared. Okay, good. Now let's do problem number 4. Now this says find the circumference of a circle given that the area is 78.6 centimeters squared. Number 4, this time you're given the area. So the area is 78. So the area is 78.6 centimeters squared. Alright? And ask you to find the circumference. So how do you do that? Well, what do you need to do in order to find the circumference of a circle? What do you need? The radius, because we know that circumference is 2 pi r. That r can be provided from area. See that? Because we know that area equals to pi r squared. If I solve for r, I can take that r and substitute in here and get the circumference. See that? So that means I can use this information to find the r. So area is 78.6. We're going to set the centimeter squared aside for right now, okay? And pi is 22 over 7, and we don't know the radius, so we're just going to put r squared. And we are solving for r, so we're going to move 7. 7 is dividing, cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So 78.6 times 7, which is 22 r squared. Now we're going to take the 22 across. 22 is multiplication, cross the bridge becomes division. Okay, so we're going to take 78.6 times 7 over 22 equals to r squared. Now before we find the r, let's solve this one first. Okay, let's take the calculator and then we're going to type in, punch in 78.6 times 7, that gave me 550.2, and then I'm going to divide that by 22. Divide that 22 gives me 25.009. So we can just say 25. Okay, we're going to round it up to 25. So that gives me 25 equals to r squared. Now, in other words, r squared equals to 25. Alright, I'm just going to bring it up here. Alright, I'm looking for r. What do? I take square root. Square root, square root. Square root of 25, it's 5. R equals to 5 centimeters, right there. Why did I square it? Because r squared. In order to find r, I square root of r squared. That gives me r. If I square it this side, I have to square it on the other side. Because we know that r squared is 25. To find r, I squared it both sides. Very important, okay? So am I done? No, we just found the radius. We're looking for what? Circumference. We're going to take this c, alright? We know c, circumference is c, 2 pi r. And we know r now is 5. So 2 times 22 over 7 times 5. Okay? So now we're going to take 2 times 22 times 5, and then we're going to divide that by 7. Okay, we're going to take the calculator. So we can take 2 times 22 times 5. That gives me 220. Divide that by 7. That gives me 31.43. Okay, so 31.43. What's the unit? Centimeters. Exactly. All right. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. So see that? In order to find the circumference, we need to know the radius. So the radius can be found from the area. Area gives me that enough resource I can use with the area to get the radius. Pretty easy, isn't it? All right. Well, what is time now? It's time for yes of Pablo. He's already ahead of us. He said, yo, it's time for a quiz. All right, Pablo, thank you. And here he dared us too. He said, make sure you do the quiz. Yes, my dear students, go get them. All right, go do the quiz and then come see Mr. Mac on the next sub lesson, and I'll be waiting for you. Bye-bye.